Hello. I gotta change my note. Anyway, welcome today. This is show number 28 of my Monday Madness shows. Today we're going to do a little bit different. Today's topic is top reasons why you're not getting hired. Yes, this episode is for the employees out there so that you can hopefully get hired. A lot of my content is basically for small business owners, but today I'm trying something different. So let's get into this. Top reasons why you're not getting hired. You're on the job search. Maybe you're getting interviews. Maybe you're getting a second interview. Maybe you're getting a whole lot of regret emails. Like, that's never fun. Anyways, I'm going to mention the hard stuff that people don't like to talk about. So, number one, racism. You're not getting a job because racism. Now, racism only affects people of color, Indigenous people like me, new Canadians that have accents and beautiful traditional names or foreign names that are just too hard for Canadian business owners to pronounce, so they just don't want to hire you, right? Racism is here. We can see it in the fabric of our country and in the fabric of if you're in Alberta like me right now with the separatist movements going on, and our premier's what's the word am I saying? Her denial of treaty rights and Indigenous rights. Legally speaking, the treaties are active documents, and they're and they say we share the land. Province doesn't own this land. It's being shared. So anyway, but racism is just coming out. It's like oozing out. And at first I thought this round of racism, which has lasted quite a bit for quite a while since COVID and Trump, right? Because people fall for the scapegoat issue. These people are the cause of your problems, and that's not right, and that's completely incorrect. So racism, it's here, man. I want everyone to honor their names and use their real names on their resumes, but racism is here, and that's why we see a lot of new Canadians using a westernized name. I've seen this on resumes, and I found out like years later that this person's name isn't really what they said it was on their resume. And that's sad. We shouldn't have to do that. If you feel you need to do that, do that. But I wish we didn't have to. But racism is here, and racism could be a major reason why you're not getting a job. So what do you got to do to defend against racism? Find your people and apply for jobs in that community, especially if you're new Canadian or if you're Indigenous and you're just starting your career. Find your people. So you're going to work, if you're Indigenous like me, you're going to try to work for Indigenous organizations, Indigenous owned organizations, even on reserve jobs if you can, but those are very scarce. But if you can find an Indigenous owned organization, try applying for those. And that's the same for any race you come from. Find your people. What organizations are they operating in your community that you know about? Go try to apply there. Now, this is really important so we can get our foot in the door and get that initial experience, whether you're a young person or you're a new Canadian, and they use that excuse you don't have enough Canadian experience, which is completely BS. It's just their way of being racist, and that's the God's honest truth. Now, there's no such thing as called reverse racism, and the equity, diversity, and inclusion movement is not about being racist to middle-aged white men. That's not the way it works. It's about making sure every person, every race has the same level of rights and opportunities in a community. Since colonization, middle-aged white men have had this much rights. The rest of us, some white women maybe up here, right? So the rest of us have had fewer rights. So it's not about bringing rights down for anybody. It's about bringing rights up together. That's what we're doing. That's what we're fighting for right now. But you have to deal with this. You have to realize racism is there. Go find your people. Go apply for work there. All right. I just touched on it. Number 2, sexism. Sexism is there. And it's still there. For some bizarre reason, most men are misogynistic, and we seem to think that women can't do the same job that we do. And again, just like racism, men are feeling attacked that there's more women in the workforce, right? And that's not true. Women can do anything that a man can do. Period. There's no, give them a chance, right? So, but we have to deal with this sexism, and we have preconceptions about certain types of jobs. Construction worker. Our preconception is a bunch of burly men standing out in the hot, sweating. Right, that's our preconception of construction workers. So we have a hard time imagining that there's women in that group. Or God forbid, a whole crew of women doing work like that, right? Like it's society. It's changing way too slow. But it's still something you have to deal with, especially if you're a woman, or if you're a trans person, or you're open and out about your sexuality, whatever it might be, whatever society thought was traditional in the past. Now you're dealing with these sorts of things where, we don't want that person here because they used to be a man or whatever, right? Like, I mean, that means nothing. Your sexual orientation means nothing. And I get so angry and I get so sad that there's so many of us in society that have to live a different life. We have to pretend when we're out and about. We have to, be someone we're not. And it's hard enough when you're putting that on just to be professional, right? Just trying to be professional, but at home you're just a slob who likes to play video games, right? But now you got to be professional. But this is like 50 times worse, that you have to deny your identity as a person in order to go out and get a job. We also have situations where a job like reception or administrative assistant or even HR, my industry, it is dominated by women. And it's hard for us to imagine a man in those jobs. Boo-hoo, okay. We don't really matter too much. If men aren't getting into the admin stream, right? that's their choice. But by having women predominantly in a certain industry or a certain job type or job class, it allows us to pay them less. And we're still being sexist. Admin staff, highly important in most organizations. You have to have a lot of different office skills. You are the expert in the back room of that organization, and yet you're not getting paid as much, right? There's a lot of managers and supervisors that lean heavily on their admin staff, making them look good and giving them the high pay. But the admin staff, who's doing like 50, 75 or more % of the work, is getting no credit. They're just a low paid, highly skilled assistant. When we think about admin staff, we think it's low skill, right? It's not. It is very high skill. There is a lot of jobs out there that we consider low skill, like fast food service people, restaurant service people. They are go, go, go. They have to get everything right. There's lots of memorization and just doing things fast. Those are all skills. Those are all valuable skills. And they should be paid more for it, right? We'll bring it back to sexism. There's a lot of jobs that you would consider female or male, and it's hard for us to have that preconception to say, oh, there's men in that role, there's women in that role, right? So if you're trying to get into an industry that's dominated by a certain sex or whatever, right? Like, you're gonna have to prove that you can be there. Unfortunately, we shouldn't have to, but you'll have to do something extra, just like you'll have to do something extra with racism. Ageism, you're either too young or you're too damn old, right? It's hard for us to hire young people in certain roles because we feel like they don't have the experience or the skill or the mental fortitude to handle high pressure situations. I mean, there's certain industries, when you're in like a construction industry or something like that, safety is learned. Being safe is a learned skill, and it takes time to be safe. So I could see in certain industries where we do treat the younger employees or a new employee into that industry, we look after them more because we know if they do just one simple little thing wrong, they're dead, right? But we also have at the other end, we have our aging population, all our boomers, and now my generation, the Gen X people. We're all starting to get older, just like the boomers are, and we're still healthy. We're still able to work. So why can't we work, right? Every situation is different. And I think a lot of times when you think of someone who's older, we think we're going to have to pay them more or whatever. And maybe you should be. They're so skilled that they should be paid, right? More. That's a thing. In, I believe it's Japan, they don't retire their older employees. They call them, it's a word, it's a Japanese word they use for it, but it refers to someone who sits by the window, because they get these desks that are next to the window and they get to look out the window or whatever. But anybody in the company, the younger employees, can come meet with that elderly employee and get advice, so that they're as an elder statesman who is sharing their knowledge, and anybody in the employee in the younger employees, they can come visit. And I think that's just a beautiful thing. They keep their wage, they come into work like normal, they don't really have any work to do, they're just helping the younger employees, helping them advance their careers and things like that. And I think that's just a beautiful way to deal with our aging workforce. I had an experience where I had an older employee working out. This is when I was with a construction company. We had an older employee working out on a crew truck, and they were supposed to be doing maintenance and things like that. I was just worried. Like, this person was in their 70s, and they were out in the oil field on a crew truck. So I wanted to keep them. I didn't want to fire them, but I brought them in to help out at the shop, in the yard. And I think that was a great compromise, because I was worried about this person. I didn't want to get rid of them, but I needed them to be someplace safer. Instead of being an hour out of town, they're now in town. And if anything happened, then we can address that better, right? So ageism is there. And I think if you still want to be work and you still want to be active, consult if you can. Otherwise, if you just want to continue doing a job, there might be an argument to say, well, don't ask for more money. Yes, you've got 30, 40 years experience, but maybe you're okay. You're still working. Maybe you're working for the average pay, right? It's a hard choice to be dealing with ageism. It shouldn't be there. And any organization should be, yes, I want that older, more experienced person in my organization. Putting them in the right role, right, is like the Japanese do. That's very appropriate. Find a proper role for that. But now, is you the job hunter who might be older or younger, you have to make sure that you show that you're capable still, or you're capable of learning new things as a young person. Everybody wants that. Organizations want that well-educated, well-experienced person that's not old. I mean, yeah, they want you at 25 with 30 years experience, right? Like just impossible numbers. It's like the job ads we see where it's an entry-level job, but they want 5 years experience. That's not entry-level. That's mid-career. So pay them mid-career money, right? So ageism is a major reason you're not getting hired. Just like racism, sexism, ageism, it's there. We're not supposed to discriminate against these reasons, but it happens. It's going to continue happening. At the front door. Oh, it's okay. Sorry if you heard some doorbell ringing in the background. It's just someone at the front door. It's okay. So we did racism, sexism, ageism. These are things you need to be worried about. So with ageism, if you graduated high school in 1981 or 1975 or 1965, maybe just take your high school off. If you've got advanced education, if you finished your degree program or your master's program or your doctorate back in the 80s, even the 90s, maybe don't put the date on it. Say you got it, but don't put what year you got it. I mean, it's a little white lie, But when you initially skim the resume, me as a person looking at the resume, the first thing I'm not thinking is, oh my God, this person graduated in 1975 with their PhD. They're going to be like 80 years old and they're not going to fit into our organization. So we'll just not do that. Yet they're probably the most experienced person that could probably just explode your business and do amazing things for you, right? So with ageism, if you graduated too long ago, take off those dates on your education. If you have a very long career, 20 plus years, I would say only put the relevant jobs on there for your current career. And if at all possible, don't put anything that's older than about 10 years. Because that's the real relevant work that you've been doing, the real relevant experience you've been doing. So that's dealing with ageism. So, racism, sexism, ageism. We're going to go with body shaming. I am a big guy. I feel I have not gotten certain jobs because they realized I'm this big guy that walks into the room. No, I'm not fast. No, now that I'm getting older, I definitely have trouble standing. I used to run a till at a retail store, and I would have to stand there for 6-8 hours, right? I have done those jobs, but now that I'm older, I don't want those jobs anyway. But I've walked, like my whole career, I've walked into jobs where I know I didn't get the job because they said, oh, we don't want this big guy here. Or it'd be a bad image for the organization because we have a big guy here. Our body size should not be shamed, should not be a thing, but it is. If you're a big guy like me and you walk into a room where everybody's skinny and super healthy looking, chances are you're not getting that job, right? And that, I believe, translates into someone who might be ultra petite. You may not get the opportunities either because you're super small, super skinny. What's that show? Wiry. You might be wiry, right? Like, it shouldn't matter. It's all about your skill and your experience. What we look like shouldn't be a thing. We have a lot of people in our society that have a physical, I don't want to use the word deformities, but they might have a birthmark on their face. They might have a missing eye. They might have some scar. They might be missing a leg, right? They might be missing a hand or something. Like, we have, God, people are different. We come in all different shapes and sizes. And 99% of the time, they don't matter. They could be the most amazing employee that someone hires just because they're a little different. Again, we shouldn't be body shaming people. Some organizations just want beautiful people, right? I worked for a nightclub. I was a bouncer. I got hired on as a bouncer because they wanted a big guy and they wanted a couple indigenous people as bouncers so that they could say, we've got black people, we got Indian people, we got indigenous people, we got white people, right? We got women bouncers, right? They wanted that they wanted that diversity so that when the shit hit the fan, nobody could really complain that the organization was being racist. I mean, a lot of the bouncers were still pretty good looking people, right? But there was some of us who were just big average people, right? Now, the bartenders, especially the beer tub girls, right? Of course, they were girls, and all these beer tub girls were girls that you would, in some way, shape, or form, say that's an attractive person, that's a beautiful person, right? They were using their beauty or their looks to make sales, right? And that's they're wearing revealing clothing, they're standing up on a stool, so they have to lean over every time they grab a beer and open it and sell it to you, right? So these are tricks. These are tricks. They're the opposite of body shaming, but I still think that's a way of body shaming, because you could be getting some really dedicated employees to do that role, but aren't as so-called beautiful or attractive, right? Body shaming, it's there. I've heard of this thing where in business you shouldn't be doing business with someone who's overweight like me, because if this person can't keep themselves healthy, how could they possibly take care of your money and help you become rich, right? This whole body shaming, you're not good at business because you're overweight, right? That's a thing. People believe in that. People take that to the bank. So body shaming is a thing. So it is so important that you're aware of this. I don't know if I can give you a lot of tips. Again, I have a great resume and a great cover letter to get you into the first interview, so they at least hear your voice if it's a phone interview. And then you can impress them with your skill and your knowledge over the phone. Unfortunately, I can't really help too much if you go into an interview and they're like, oh my God, this is a out of shape, ugly person, right? Like, if they're thinking that, all I can say is dress for success, dress for the role. I mean, obviously, if you're going in for a construction job, you're not wearing a suit to that interview. I mean, but if you're going into some sort of office job, finance job, banking job, yeah, you're wearing a suit. So even if you have a different body type, you can show them that you can still look good, right? And you dress well. And I hate that. I hate that we have to do that. All these things, racism, sexism, ageism, body shaming, right? We shouldn't have to worry about this. As a job searching potential employee, you do have to worry about those things. What's the next thing? Hey, if you're liking this topic today, it's a little different from my other topics. If you're liking this topic, hey, please like this video. Subscribe if you're watching this on a platform where you can subscribe. That'd be great. Or make a comment. Tell me how I'm out to lunch, right? Oh, somebody's in the chat here. Spam from Twitch. Spammer on Twitch. saying they're going to promote my channel. Well, whatever. Now, I recently helped one of my clients get a job. She was changing careers. So she was going from her previous career to trying to break into the HR career, right? She was finishing off her degree and wanted to make this change. So since I'm in the HR profession, I was able to give her a lot of tips. But career changes can be hard. And just doing that translating these previous skills to your new career, right? This may also happen with jobs that don't quite match your experience. So maybe it's not a career change, but you're having trouble trying to articulate your previous skills into the new role, whether it's a slightly lateral move or it's a promotion, right? This is the type of stuff. Right? You must relate your past experience to how it will help in your new career. I used to do this, and this is how it will help me in this new industry. Think about everything you used to do and how can that translate into your new industry. This might be difficult. Use AI, right? That career change can be hard. You might have to do something, be creative. Try to keep your current job. If you're changing careers, I'm not advising you to quit your job so you can go search for a better job. Don't quit your job until you have a job offer. Even though that previous job you might hate and you feel like you're going straight to hell every time you go to work, keep it. Keep your income there. It's going to be hard, yes. But just remember, you're changing. You're making a move. Keep yourself encouraged that that move is going to happen. Right. Career change. Okay, you might have to do some creative stuff. Get a part-time entry-level job that is in your new industry. Something you can work evenings or weekends. Right? If you can pick that up, that'll be helpful because it's starting to give you experience in that new industry. Some examples of this. I mean, if you want to get into like sales or the insurance industry or finance industry, there are companies out there that'll give you training. World Financial Group, Primerica, right? These sorts of things. You might go help a realtor because you're taking your realtor course or something, right? If you can pick up something like that, even if you can go work for somebody for free in that industry, tell them you just want to learn the ropes. This is hard for us to do. It's a big shift in our mentality. If you're doing work, you should get paid for it, right? But if you're in the crunch, a career change, be willing and ready to do what you need to do to get that experience. So if you are going to work a part-time job for free, learn everything you can, right? And that's instantly something that you can put onto your resume. So applying for those full-time jobs in the industry. What else can you do? Volunteer. Oh my God, volunteer. Volunteer experience is still experience. Go down, volunteer here in Edmonton. We have community leagues. Every community league across the city needs volunteers. Go in there, volunteer to run a program related to your new industry. Volunteer to be on the board, get some board experience, leadership experience. Volunteer to be the treasurer, get some finance experience under your belt, right? Like, There is a lot. You could find lots of other volunteer organizations in your town, in your city, in your province, where you're doing things that you're not traditionally doing in your current career or your current job, right? Volunteer. You do that for 6 months. All of a sudden, you got 6 months experience doing something that's exactly or related to the new industry you want to get into. Get creative. Get creative. Yeah, the career change, the big thing is, I mentioned it, trying to take a task you used to do, some experience, a job task, and translating that into how it's going to directly help in your new career. And I can't stress this enough to do that, because me as the person trying to hire you, I may not be thinking creatively. I'm looking for someone who's got lots of experience in the industry. And if you don't have any experience in the industry, then I'm just going to throw away your resume. If you got a great cover letter that says, hey, for the last 10 years, I've been doing XYZ, but I feel like a lot of things in this industry can translate into your job, into your organization, and list off, like 3 to 5 things that will directly relate to the new job, the new role, the new career. I think that's pretty good. You got to do that. Let's see, next one. So what is that? Racism, sexism, ageism, body shaming, the career change issue. Number 6, no network, where you're not using nepotism to your advantage. You need to network. That's LinkedIn is a great place, but if you just know people in certain industries, especially people in the industry you're trying to move to. Sorry, excuse me. If you're trying to get into a new industry on LinkedIn, you should be connecting with people that are doing the job or in the industry that you want, and connect with them. And if they connect with you, send them a quick message that says, hey, I see you're in this industry. I'm thinking of getting into this industry. Do you have any tips for me? Anything would be great, right? Don't get pushy and say, hey, I'm trying to get into this industry. Give me a job. Don't ask for anyone for a job when you just connect with them. That's I block you, I unconnect with you, whatever, right? Don't ask me for a job if you just connected with me. If we've been chatting for the last 6 months and I'm starting to mentor you, when a job opens up, use that person as an internal reference for you, right? Like, it's the long game. Networking is the long game. When I went back to university in my 30s to get my degree, all our professors, instructors, facilitators, they all said network, get out there and network. And I took it for granted, because I hate networking. I hate that act of actually showing up somewhere and trying to meet someone new. I'm an introvert. It's very hard for me to be in a room with 100 people and try to shake hands and meet people. It's very hard for me. It's very mentally exhausting for me to do that. So I didn't take it to heart. I didn't take it as seriously. I should have. That should have been my part-time job, going out networking. And I feel like it's hurt my career because I didn't have enough connections. Now, I know people from the past, some people I've known for 10, 15, 20 years. They've come back to me after all this time and said, "Hey, Ian, we got a job for you. Would you like to come take it?" That's the network working. You're not going around begging for work. You're just making connections. And these people that are good connections, they're going to think about you. Just like if you were running your own business, the first thing you would do is run through your head and say, which one of my friends and family would want to come work for me? Which one of my ex-schoolmates would want to come work? How many of my extended network would want to come work for me? Like you start thinking, you start close and you start moving out thinking, who wants to come work with me? And just like you would do that, everybody else is doing that too. They're thinking, who would be a good fit? Who would be a good fit, right? And when you think about, Ian, yeah, that's good. I'll ask Ian if he wants to work, right? So nepotism isn't just, your dad hiring you at the family business. It's people you know, people you've met, previous co-workers in your career when you were younger, things like that. That is who will come out of the woodwork one day and say, "Hey, we got an opportunity. Would you like to come work for us?" Right? Build your network. You gotta build that network. Networking is the long game. Start it now. It might benefit you in 5-10 years. Right? Take every opportunity to meet with someone, to network with someone. Certain people right away, I know they're just going to ask me for the same thing or just try to sell me something. But I do try to just take the meetings with anyone who asks to have a meeting with me. Even though sometimes it might be a waste of your time, networking is so important. Oh, got some chat going on here. My sister says she got in here late. Jiraiya, I saw your face and I said nothing. He automatically said, "Musum, you're his fave online celebrity." Nice. So my Jiraiya is my sister's grandkid. So traditionally, as an Indigenous person, because Joy's my sister, they also refer to me as a grandparent. So in Cree, it's Musum. Or that's how we refer to it. My sister says, "I get way too involved when I volunteer. I end up being stressed over something I thought would be fun and help the community." Yes. I'm part of several volunteer organizations, and I always have to remind people, if you are going the volunteer route to try to get some experience, only take on what you really can take on. There is a large need for volunteers in most communities, and that can lead to volunteer burnout. It is a thing. It happens all the time. And don't get burnt out. Do only what you can really afford to volunteer. Don't be guilted by other volunteers in the group saying, "Oh, well, you should be doing something else because we're all doing 20 things," right? Only do what you can really comfortably manage, right? Career change, networking. All right, here's something a little more concrete. You're not using industry keywords on your resume. your industry or your new industry, if you're doing a career change, right? You've got to try to bring as much of that industry lingo into your resume as you possibly can, right? If you're doing data input, write down the program, name the program, full name, and whatever it might be called abbreviated. You put, that's 2 keywords. And we're in the age of AI and computers. When you send in your resume via email or some sort of online application form, it first gets vetted by the system. And the person at the other end has programmed the system to acknowledge certain keywords, phrases, sentences, whatever. And if you don't have enough of those, it's going to rate your resume lower. So at the other end, when I see the 100 employees that applied, or the 100 potential employees that applied for my job, I see a percentage of how each person fits my job. And that's all based on keywords. There's nothing else to say this person's a good employee. This is all just facts. Did you write these keywords on your resume? You want your resume to be up there at like 95% of the keywords showing up, right? So that you got a chance of at least getting that first phone interview. I mean, if your resume is showing up with less than 50% of the keywords that this person is keying in, you're not going to get an interview. You're not going to get nothing. You might get regrets. I know when I do a job competition, I only send regrets out to the people that I did a phone interview with or went further on in the process. If I didn't do a phone interview with you, there should be a note on my job ad that says only people considered for this role will be contacted, right? So if you don't get contacted, you weren't being considered. Keywords, industry lingo, right? Just don't say I use a computer all day. Put down I used the programs Word, Excel, Microsoft Office Suite. I used just whatever program is normally being used in your industry. Add it to your resume. In the job, don't make a silly list of skills. Oh, I hate the list of skills. It makes no sense. It just says I know all these programs and I know these things. And they're not provable. When you have a section that just says skills and it's just a list of skills and programs, there's no way to prove that you actually have that. Each one of those should be put into the job where you learn that skill or you use that skill. You could even put it into your education, right? You used a certain program in your job, but you did also learn the competing program when you were in university, right? And it's there now. It's in there. It's keyed in. It's a keyword on your resume. So you need to make sure you're using your keywords properly. Oh, here's my mom saying she loves me. She was just texting me before she got on the live stream here. And thanks, Mom. All right. The movie was good. Where's my list? I lost my list. Okay. So again, if you're liking this topic today, like and subscribe or even make some sort of comment, depending on where you're watching this, right? You are using, okay, Top reasons why you're not getting hired: racism, sexism, ageism, body shaming. You're doing a career change and having trouble translating your skills to the new industry. You're not networking or using nepotism properly. You're not using the industry keywords on your resume or cover letter. And now you're using a generic cover letter for applications. Your resume can be generic for the industry you're getting into. Your cover letter, and you should be making one for every job you apply for. If they don't have room to put in two documents, a cover letter and a resume, you copy and paste your cover letter into your resume document. Then you got your cover letter, then you got your resume underneath, right? But you can't use a generic cover letter. I have run hundreds of competitions and I've seen resumes come in. I've seen people, we've had multiple jobs for our business running at the same time, and I've seen people send in the exact same resume and the exact same cover letter for both positions. And they were generic cover letters. They weren't talking about our company or anything like that, or, you know, covering the must-have skills from the job ad. They're not covering that. You need to have a generic resume or generic cover letter. No, you need to have a new cover letter for every job you apply for, because you need to address that company directly to prove that you've researched the company a little bit and that you've properly read their job ad. These things will come out in your cover letter along with industry keywords. So you need a new cover letter every time. And I'm also leaning towards removing the summary on a resume, because you have a summary, or what's another word for it? Anyway, it's a paragraph or two at the top of your resume. I'm leaning towards just taking that out because it seems redundant. It's like repeating yourself from your cover letter to your objective or career summary or whatever, right? That information should all be in your cover letter. So I'm leaning towards taking that off, and just get into your education. Don't write a summary or whatever. If you got a good cover letter going for every application, this is what slows down our ability to apply for jobs. You have some places where you can just do an instant apply, whether it's on Indeed or LinkedIn. You can do an apply now button. Sometimes that doesn't allow you to have a cover letter in there. So even if you're doing that apply now button, you got to make sure that you're adding a cover letter to it. So cover letters take time to build. Okay. Racism, sexism, ageism, body shaming. You're in a career change. You're not networking or using nepotism. You're not using industry keywords. You're using a generic cover letter. And now, number 9, job tasks are not detailed enough on your resume. We all have the bullet points, or some people put a paragraph describing what the job is. I prefer bullet points. They're easier to read. There might be more white space around it, so they look good. Even if your resume runs long, I would rather have 15 bullet points explaining what you did at that job. And if that adds an extra page onto your resume, oh well. Sometimes you can combine those and try to shorten them or whatever, but you still need to use those the industry keywords. And we forget sometimes that the job we do might not be what our standard preconception of what a job, what a role might be. I like to think of a admin assistant role, right? We immediately think an admin assistant does a certain amount of tasks, but admin assistant might be deceiving because you might actually be doing accounting for the accounting department. You're doing the accounts payable or something, right? Like you're doing something a little bit more advanced than answering phones and typing letters, right? So you've got to be as detailed as possible. I took training for this specific type of photocopier, right? Like you went for a full day training to learn how to use that photocopier. Write that down. That's education. That was part of that job experience. You may have had to cover for your boss. So you were supervisor now and again. Anytime you're, over the last 10 years, anytime your boss or your supervisor took vacation, you were acting supervisor, acting manager, whatever. You have leadership experience. You have management experience, right? Say that over the last 10 years, I have about 6 months worth of management experience covering for my boss, right? Like it's something we forget these little details about what the actual job is. That's why I recommend anytime you get a new job, you pull out your resume, you keep it someplace, and every time you learn something new, you add a bullet point. Everything you knew or learned or do at a new job, you just keep adding to your resume. You'll sort it out later. Maybe some of these lines can be reorganized to shorten it up or whatever. But you want to make sure that just gets in there. Yeah, but you need to be a little more detailed. I'm trying to think of a good... construction worker or something, heavy equipment operator, and for the last 10 years you just say, I've been running heavy equipment. All right, what type of equipment? About how many years were you working on that equipment? There's kind of a hierarchy in the construction industry. Right, the low-level equipment is like a packer, and then a rock truck, and then the bulldozer, and front-end loader, and excavator, and then finally grader. Having experience running a grader is like the journeyman of heavy equipment operating, because your grader operator needs to be really good because they're out there on the client's road plowing that road, and if they mess up the road, you're fired, right? And all this other equipment, it just slowly gets more difficult in the situations you need to be in, the controls, whatever, right? So just saying you run heavy equipment, that's not enough detail. If you put, I spent the last year running bulldozer, okay, well, they're not going to put you onto a grader. If you say all the different types of equipment you run, possibly the sizes, and you got a year of this, a year of this, a year of this, 2 years of this, and for the last year I've been running this, right? It shows that progression It shows actual skills, things like that, right? So get more detailed. Try to get detailed without turning it into a 4-line bullet, right? Each bullet hopefully is a line and a half type thing. Try to be as detailed as possible in that situation. Now you're thinking, how do I be detailed as possible? How do I keep writing these cover letters? How do I know I'm using the industry keywords? How do I know that I'm translating my current skills into the new career skills that I'm looking for? I mean, you got to be using AI, right? You're using AI to improve your cover letters. You're improving your resume. You're asking the AI, am I using enough industry standards? Is there some keywords I'm missing, right? AI becomes your friend. You pump in your resume and you say something like, can I improve this resume? Am I using the right keywords? Right? So it's going to help you. You're going to get some improvement. And then, now that you got your resume fixed up, improved, you will, every time you go to apply for a job, you copy and paste that job ad into your AI. I use ChatGPT. I pay for it because I use it for business and everything. You put that in there, same chat or new chat, the chat will get to know you. You post in that new job and say, first off, am I qualified for this job? Is it worth it for me to apply for this job? It's gonna do this compare and contrast thing and say, you're pretty close. You're just missing this, this, or this, right? Maybe you have it. Maybe that's just something you haven't put in your resume yet. So you could improve your resume and apply for it. At the same, and at the same time, you're saying, okay, can you please generate a cover letter for me to apply for this job? And it'll generate a cover letter. Always review any document you pull from AI to make sure that it's in your words, and you remove the long dash. I think it's called the M dash or something. There's a long dash that AI uses instead of a comma now and again. And it's very bizarre. So go in. If it's not the way you write, edit it. If AI is saying something that you feel is a bit of a stretch, like you've done a little bit of this, but AI is making it sound like you've got 5 years experience doing that one thing, go ahead, change it, take it out. But anything that comes out of AI, make sure you give it a review. If you're not good at that sort of stuff, get someone, trusted friend, to do the review for you, right? We all get into these situations where imposter syndrome, our resume looks too good, and it makes us feel a little slimy. So when you feel that way, go ahead and change it. Well, nice to see you too. Sad. Anyway, thanks for the comment. AI. Use the AI. It's here. It's not going anywhere. If you're not using AI or getting to know how to use AI, you're going to get left behind. That is just the plain old truth. If you're an AI denier or you're worried about the environmental impacts of AI, it is still going to be here. It is coming. Just make sure you vote properly for the politicians that are actually going to make AI environmentally friendly. And there is ways. I've used AI itself, searching how do you make AI data centers more environmentally friendly. Gave me all kinds of great ideas. These things should be public policy, right? If we're going to put in a data center for more AI, it must follow these rules. Government is there to protect us from the evil capitalist fascists who are just trying to ruin the environment and get rich, right? And abuse us workers. So use the AI, get to know AI, start using it for silly things. Just ask it silly questions and have fun with it. You'll start to see how it operates, but you can copy and drag and drop documents into your AI when you're in your computer and things like that. I think older employees really need to get into AI to avoid the ageism situation. If you can take some AI training and add that to your resume, that's the way of the future. It's here. AI is a culmination of all our technologies. Since our very first computers, Alan Turing, World War II, when he created his Turing machine, right? And they broke the Enigma code and stuff, right? That 50, 60, 70 years of technology, it's here. This is AI. We've done it. Now AI is helping us move further, right? So use it. Don't be scared of it. You don't have to pay for it. I think there's free versions you can use. They won't be as good, but that's fine. It's better than nothing. I think that's it. Top reasons why you're not getting hired: racism, sexism, ageism, body shaming. You're in the middle of a career change and having difficulty translating experience into the new career. You're not networking and you're not using nepotism properly. You're not using industry keywords on your resume and cover letter properly. You're using a generic cover letter for all the jobs you apply for. Don't do that. And your job tasks on your resume are not detailed enough. You have to get more detailed. That doesn't mean do a paragraph, just add a few more words, right? And number 10, I'm amazed I came out to 10. I wasn't even counting how many. You're not using AI. You're not learning AI. AI can really help with the job search for you, helping you generate cover letters, helping you improve your resume, and even ask it, how do I avoid racism? Right? I could put into my AI and says, I'm Indigenous from Northern Alberta. How can I apply for jobs to avoid racism? Do it. See what it says. It's going to give you some creative information, some creative ideas, things to think about. All right? That's it. That's all. If you need to get a hold of me, all my links, so you can see the code up in the top right-hand corner. Let's see. Maybe I can put it down here in the front too. I don't know where it is. I've lost it. Oh, Jesus, right up at the top. Here's all my links again. See, it's a link tree. All my links are updated there. Go check them out. I think I got some ebooks you might be interested in that you could purchase from me. It's the same link as up here in the top corner. Just hopefully it shows up in the chat now. And you can click on the link. But it's linktr.ee/Ian, the HR Pro. That gets you to it. And I mean, if you want to support me, you can go buy one of my t-shirts. Here's a great t-shirt. Leaders win when the team wins. I'm not sure what the price is right now, but this is on, I have a store on the website TeePublic, and all my designs are on there. There's some indigenous designs, there's some business designs, some space designs. I have this great t-shirt I like to wear that says, I am HR in big giant words. And this is one of my favorite t-shirts. I have this one too at home. I wore it over the weekend. In space, HR can't hear you scream. So that's a play on Alien. In space, no one can hear you scream. Wow, since I'm an HR professional in space, HR can't hear you scream. Yeah, all right. Everybody have a great day. I'm gonna let you go. It's hot. I gotta close the window and try to turn on some air conditioning or something. All right, love you all. Talk to you all next week. Should be on live next week.